Hi there, this is Bike. In this video, I'll show you some cool hidden things in Chesterfield County, Virginia. So, there's lots of cool hidden things that you might not know about in this county. So, let's get started. About this, note, most, if not all of these are free. So they don't cost any money other than gas to drive there. But it's not far if you live in Chesterfield County. So Chesterfield County is definitely not the most beautiful county within Virginia, and it doesn't have the most tourist attractions. But there are some cool attractions that many don't know about. So, there's lots of cool places in the mountains of Virginia, and there's some relatively cool beaches, Chesterfield County doesn't have all that much to see because it's one of the most populated counties, because there's some more rural ones that there's not a lot of people that live in, so there's a lot more cool things that you could possibly see, but Chesterfield is one of the most populated counties in Virginia, so there's a lot of retail things there, but there's still some cool things that you might not know about. So if you live in Chesterfield County, the drive to one of these is 0 to 30 minutes most likely, because from one point to another in Chesterfield, I think maximum could be 30 minutes, likely. It may be a little bit more. I didn't do any research on that, but and you may even live on the road that it's on. So these are all of these different places. There's 10 that I'll talk about. They are not all in one place in Chesterfield. They're all separated throughout it, although there's more in the south and west than in the north, because that's the more rural areas, and like I said before, the places that are near Richmond, there's definitely a lot of buildings and stuff there, so there's a less chance that there's something that you could see. There still may be some things, but these are just ones I know about. Note, this video is not necessarily made for visitors or people that just moved, but for people who have lived here for a long time and are looking for something to do. You can still visit these if you're new to them. So, basically, if you're looking for cool places to go in Chesterfield County, this isn't necessarily the right video for you to watch, because there's lots of cool places that I won't talk about that are in Chesterfield, because many people know about them, unless you just moved here. But I'll explain some examples of well-known ones on the next slide. So, well-known attractions that are widely known even for lots of people in Virginia is Pocahontas State Park. In this picture, it's a state park with many trails, but that does cost money. Well, all these things listed cost money except for parks. And then there's Henricus Historical Park, which is one of the first settlements in the United States. So there was first Jamestown in 1607, then they needed to look for a new place to go that wasn't as swampy and more inland, and they found Henricus, which is, I think part of Henricus is in Henrico County, hence the name, but I think that one part of it, the actual park, is in Chesterfield, I'm pretty sure, yeah. You just take Coxendale Road. But anyways, that's not the point. Then there's Matoaca Park. That's a park that is in Matoaca, this southern Chesterfield, and there are lots of trails there, but it doesn't cost money. And then there's a lot of other parks. I think Rockwood Park is a cool one in the Midlothian area, and there's lots of other ones. Lots of things there, but that's not the point of this video. And then there's still the zoo. This is The zoo is almost in Amelia County, though. It's pretty far out there. So where these secrets are. So here's a map of Chesterfield. So we can see the different counties that we have here. We have Powhatan up here. We have Richmond city limits, which is the capital of Virginia. Hopefully you know that if you live there. Really, you probably know. You might even know that if you don't live in Virginia. But I don't know why you'd be on this video. Then you have Henrico over here. This Henrico, there's two parts of it. There's also another part up here that surrounds Richmond, and this is the like more busy part, like urban, and then this is very rural right here. There's probably a lot of cool things here. In fact, I have to say there is a place somewhere near like Sandston, I believe, and there's like 12 railroad tracks that go over a road, and it's like a long tunnel, and that's pretty cool. There's also one in Dinwiddie, but that's not the point. If you'd like to hear more about that, please comment below. Then you have Prince George County, and then Dinwiddie, and then Amelia. So that's the counties. There's lots of counties that surround this one, but you can see that there's a lot of points here. So there's just 10, and you can see this one isn't in there. I'll talk about that more later. You take this road, and it's hardly outside of it. And then this one is technically in Dinwiddie, but it's like right along the river. So you can see that there's not... The most people live in this area of Chesterfield, this Midlothian area, and you can see that there's not as much markers right there. And there's probably some cool things right here, but they're hard to know about. I mean, I've been to most parts of Chesterfield. I used to live there. I don't right now. But then you have some other ones far out. But that's where they are, so keep that in mind. So first, old hidden houses on Church Road. So Church Road is in southern Chesterfield. So that's this point that we're talking about. Oops. Sometimes my computer just does that. Here's Church Road. It's pretty windy, and in fact, that's the road I lived on. The two places I lived first off of River Road, near Hunter's Green. Then I lived on Church Road. So that's the only way I know about this, probably, because most people that live in Chesterfield might not have been on this road, because there's not really a reason to unless you live on it, because there's not really anything on it. It's very rural on that road. And so here's a hidden house, and this one is one of the like 2 or 3 that I've noticed. Well, there are like 2 that are out in a field that you can see that I actually think, unfortunately, they tore one of them down. But anyways, there is one at the end of the road. This is Hickory Road, and it's right at the end of it on the other side of the road. And I don't know, I mean, it's possible that they could have torn down any of these, but I know that it was there once. I mean, that's taken from Google Street View. So that was 2018. That's the last time I've even been on that road. And it was there then. And here's the thing about it, though. This house you cannot see unless it's winter or fall, because there's so much plants that grow in the spring and summer that it covers it up. Like, that's what's weird about it. That's pretty much the case for all the other ones. There's a couple that are near, like, Little Road, and I think there's one that's near the other end of it at River Road, but you'll have to find those yourself. Then, this doesn't really have to do with it, but if you are ever wondering, this sign, you might not notice this. I just noticed it because I lived on that road. This sign used to be like this. It had a slight curve, but now it's like a complete right angle turn sign. They changed it, and the reason why that is one day I got home and I heard a very loud boom that sounded like an explosion, and a trash truck flipped over on its side because it didn't know that the turn was that sharp, so they changed the sign. But the guy was okay, at least that. Alright, next one, Appomattox River hydropower plant. You might know about this one, and you might say, oh, what's so cool about going to a hydropower plant? It's not necessarily that. I mean, it is pretty cool to see, but there's John J. Radcliffe Appomattox River Park with a 1.1 mile trail, and it's a good thing to take young kids on. That's what I used to go on when I was little, and it doesn't cost money, but they do close the gates at the beginning of the road, which is Cheston Road, after dusk and before dawn. Gosh, this thing's so dumb. And that's right here. It's pretty much, Cheston Road is the same thing as Church Road, which is this, because once it gets to River Road, it turns into Cheston Road. Okay, then we have a 4-mile trail from Matoaca to Petersburg. This technically is in Dinwiddie County, and then it's in the Petersburg city limits, but it is very close to being in Chesterfield, so close enough that I could list. You might not know about this because for some reason it's not listed on Google, and it's not listed like anywhere on the road. I'm pretty sure. So if you've ever gone on this road, Pickett Avenue, there's 2 bridges that you cross. The first one is the long one that goes over the Appomattox River, and then the second one is a short one, and you might have not known what that is, but that's the trail, if I'm correct. But this trail, there's a parking lot on either side. There is a park that you may know about, so you park at that park, then you walk under the road, and you can just walk alongside. This is 4 miles though, so might not be something you want to take your kids on. And I don't necessarily know what it's like there, but I know that there's a trail there because there is like a trail, like small sign that's not very noticeable on this side that I've seen before. So you, I think you have to cross this railroad. I'm assuming, because I've never been on this trail myself. I've seen both ends of it, so I know it exists, and people have talked about it before. But I'm pretty sure you'd have to cross this railroad. Be careful there. I don't think they would probably build a bridge just to go over a railroad, or I mean over a trail, but the bridge of the railroad that goes over the river may continue that far, so you can walk under it. I don't know. And then it ends right here once River Road. This is River Road. It bends back this way, and then once it crosses the river, you're out of Chesterfield and into Petersburg, and that's where the railroad is, and the old bridge that there used to be right there with the post still there. And this is a picture I took at one end of the trail, this end. So the trail is like right here. You can't really see it, but if you notice in my profile picture, if it's still what it is, one of the pictures is this. That's why I put that there, because it's very cool. So the river rushes, and it's a nice scenic trail to go on. Then the Eppes Falls. So likely there's no waterfalls here, and you may have never heard this road. It's Route 621, I'm pretty sure. I think Winterpock Road, or no, Black Road. Winterpock Road turns into Black Road, and then Black Road turns into Eppes Falls Road, I'm pretty sure. And that starts at Hull Street, but it goes down to River Road, and Eppes Falls Road has no street view, and I've never been here, so there's only a couple of these that I've actually been to and seen, but I know they exist because I've seen it online and other people have told me about it. So there is possible river access. The only thing about this one is that it's possible that this is a private property, so I'm not encouraging you to do that. But here's the thing. Let me go on here. So there's something called the Eppington Plantation, and likely somebody had the last name Eppington that owned this land years ago. And here's a plantation, and it's a tourist attraction, so people can go here. That's why there's a location there. Question is, can you go this far? Because you can see on Google Satellite that a the trail goes, or the dirt, it's a dirt road, and it goes here, and then there's a little part that leads to the river right here. And obviously, I guess they've cut down some trees right here. So, somebody owns the land, but the question is whether you're allowed to go on it. Now, that's for you to decide. But this one may not be something you want to go to, but there's also Cedar Creek Road right here that also leads to it, and then there's Vest Road that also leads to the river. Don't know if any of these are private or not. Never been on these roads, but I've seen them. I've gone on River Road and seen them, and I've seen on Google Maps over the years where they go. And then also Second Branch Road leads to the river. It's not on this map, but as a dirt road. All these, I'm pretty sure they're paved at first and then they turn dirt at some point. But may want to look into that more before you actually try to do that. Okay, number 5 isn't necessarily something you can like stop to see, and that's the case with number 1, the old houses. But this is something interesting that you may have noticed before and just wondered why, or you may have never noticed it. But if you go on Newbys Bridge Rd, the southern section that starts at Koala Road and goes to Courthouse Road, if you've wondered, like, if there's ever 2 roads that don't connect, but they have the same name, it's likely that they used to connect. And another thing is that whatever the name of a road is, shows what might be on it. So, or who may have owned the land near it. So, example is Newbys Bridge Rd. Likely, in the olden days, there was a dirt road with the Newbys family, and they built a bridge to let their horse go over it or something. And yes, there is a bridge on Newbys Bridge Rd, on this part. And then Courthouse Road, it was called that because there's a courthouse on it, the Chesterfield Courthouse. And then Belmont, there might have just been someone with that last name. I don't know. But you can see this is Newbys Bridge Rd. Here's the orange market. There's Courthouse Road. That's right where 288 is. Then there's Belmont Road, and this is also Newbys Bridge Rd. But this is how it was, like 50 years ago. And I don't know if this changed as soon as 288 was built. I didn't live in this area before it was built, but you don't know. I don't know if that's what it was like before then, or if they changed it before that. But I think it was likely because of 288 that they changed it, because they needed one of these roads to connect to it, but they didn't want to pay for Newbys Bridge Road or Belmont Road to have to go over or under it, because there's laws that state that there has to be exits 1 mile or more apart from each other. And so if you noticed at the stoplight, if you're facing this way, you see a no outlet sign at the stoplight. And you can see a dirt road, and you might be like, what the heck, why would anyone think they could go there? Well, because I'm thinking maybe it was like this a long time ago. They changed it, like maybe a while before 288 was built, and then when it was built, they just didn't take down the sign. But this road used to still go on maybe before 288 was built, but it didn't connect since like 1951. I think that's when the road was like that. And I don't really know why they did it like that. That's a 5-way intersection, but that's what they did. And that's the reason why, because Newbys Bridge Rd used to connect to this other part, but Belmont Road didn't go right there. It was down here. So that new part is, well, it's not that new, but since 50 years or like 70 years ago. Then we have the Huguenot Springs Hotel ruins. This is the one that's technically in Powhatan County, but less than a mile outside of it. So the road, this is Huguenot Springs Road, and like I said before, why would a road be called something if it wasn't for the name? Like, because Huguenot Springs, well, maybe at first you might have thought there was some hot springs on it. I don't think so, but it's because there was a hotel called that, built by the Woolridge brothers. And if you know Woolridge Road, probably that's why that was called that. It was named after the Woolridge brothers, who maybe designed it. So it was built in the 1840s. It burnt down in 1890, and the ruins are in the Huguenot Springs Cemetery off of Huguenot Springs Road on Old Confederate Cemetery Road. So you, to access this, you could just go off of Route 60 by 288 and take this road, Route 607, Huguenot Springs Road, and take it down, but because it goes parallel to 288. But maybe it's better, for time's sake, that you take the Robius Road, Huguenot Trail Road exit, and then cut down there because it's closer to that part. So that might be what you want to do. So there's no actual picture that I could find. This is one of the ones I haven't been to. And there's no street view right there, so I couldn't do that. And there was no pictures online. I know it exists though because there's a historical marker that I've seen, and I looked into it why it was called that before. And this is what the Woolridge brothers drew to plan it out, I'm pretty sure. And so this is a very old drawing, but that's, I guess, what it looked like before it was burnt down. Now, Moore's Brick Cottages. This one is on Jefferson Davis Highway. So the reason, here's the story behind it. Highway 1, and at this part, Highway 1 and 301 merge. But Highway 1 was the primary route from Maine to Florida, so that's where that road goes. It goes to the Keys once it gets into Florida, and it was a popular route because that's what people used to travel. It was probably one of the longest routes, other than like Route 6, maybe, that goes west to east, and until the interstates were built. Interstate 95 runs parallel to Route 1 the whole time from Florida to Maine. And R.D. Moore built 40 cottages, alongside the Moore Lake. So the Moore Lake is near the intersection of 288 and Jefferson Davis Highway. So the Moore Lake now is just like some random swamp where they're trying to build apartments. But it used to be a tourist attraction where people would swim in the lake, and there was water park for kids, and that was from 1920 to 2002. And here's an example of one of the cottages that's alongside the road. I don't understand why it's not near the Moore Lake, because this is a few miles north of where the Moore Lake is, but for some reason it's there. And you can see 150 Chippenham Parkway is right here, and you would take that exit to get to it and cross over the Falling Creek, and then it's right here in the middle of the road, in between the two sides of the road. Then number 8 is Scenic Pear Orchard Road. So there's lots of rolling hills in western Chesterfield. If you know River Road, once you're going into Amelia and it turns to Newbys Bridge Rd, there's also rolling hills there. But there's a pear orchard. I don't think that's something that you can buy pears from. I don't know. But once again, that's why that's called that. And then there's the Chesterfield Berry Farm that is way out there. And I don't really know why they built a road so long, because you have to go probably 5 miles down the road, but there's no other roads off the side of it. So you can get to it by going on Hull Street, and then going on Route 603, Skin Corridor Road, and it will be on the left if you're coming from Hull Street. And you just take that road out, and it's pretty cool and nice out there. And then there's this berry farm. But it said it's temporarily closed, like in this picture. I guess that's because of the coronavirus maybe, but hopefully it'll reopen soon. Then there's the Rock Creek Park Lake. Kind of a strange name, but this is a little lake which is kind of nice to just drive by because it's nice, I guess. I mean, it's accessible through Route 678, Buford Road. So if you're in northern Chesterfield, you might want to take Huguenot Road and then go on Buford Road and then go under the Powhite Parkway. It doesn't connect, it just goes under it. And then you turn on Lakeshore Drive, and then you can just see it on the side of the road. This is a very slow road that probably no one goes on that much, so you can probably pull off to the side to take a picture if you want to. Or you can go on the other side of Buford Road, which is by Midlothian Turnpike. And you can see this on the Powhite Parkway. You may have noticed the other side of it. You can see it right before the Jenk Road exit. Then here is my favorite one that I saved for last, that probably would be the coolest one. So the Scenic N Cogbill Rd. I'll show you the pictures on the next slide. But there are two sections of Cogbill Road, and like with the Newbys Bridge Rd situation, they used to connect, but a major road, kind of like an interstate, Chippenham Parkway, was built, so they had to be separated, because it might have been too expensive to build a bridge over it or make it go under it, like they did with Buford Road right here. And so here's one part of Cogbill Road, and if you notice, you're probably like, if you've ever gone on this road, like, why the heck do they make it go like a 135-degree backwards turn and then back again? Well, and it also changes names. It changes to Chesterfield Drive right here, and then I think even Meadowdale Drive right here. It changes names like quick, like Cogbill, Chesterwood, and then Meadowdale. And then this part is still called Cogbill Road, and it's because it used to go right here and connect to this part on Hopkins Road. But that's not really the point of what's cool about it. I'm talking about this part, the North Cogbill Road. A railroad goes over this, and if you notice that most railroads that connect to roads, especially if they're minor, like this one, a slow traffic road, then they usually will just make it connect to it, and you have to cross the railroad. Or sometimes, occasionally, there will be a bridge under it. And that's the case with interstates, but usually a railroad doesn't go over a road. But in this case it does. And it's very high up, and I can tell that this looks old. And then there's also the Falling Creek, sorry that I didn't capitalize that, rushes under the road with some waterfalls that are really cool. And the pictures are on the next slide. So it's very cool because it makes you feel like you're not even in Chesterfield. Like, it seems like you're in the mountains. So here's the bridge on one side, that's what it looks like, and then you can tell it's rushing, and there's some waterfalls. Then here's the railroad bridge that goes over it, and it looks very old to me. I've never seen a train go over it, and I have been on this road, but I've never seen a train go over it. I'd assume it's still in use, because this is still the same railroad that runs through Richmond and Colonial Heights, and ultimately goes to Washington, D.C. So I would think it's still in use, but it's very old, and there's even some other posts from where the bridge used to be to the side. So these are pictures that I took one time, but you'd have to stop. I didn't stop, so that's why they're kind of blurry. So this one, you can see that the Falling Creek, once it goes under it, it curves, and then probably why they made this bridge so high is because it goes under, the creek goes under the bridge, and then that's the same creek that goes here, this same creek. Then it bends and goes here. And I think it's cool that Cogbill Road is so high, because I don't know if you can tell, but this is very low compared to the bridge. And that's it though. But which was your favorite of these 10 hidden things, and do you know about any more hidden attractions in Chesterfield? You can comment below. Remember to like and subscribe, and that'll be it. Thanks for watching.